Thank you so much. There's a meeting. They asked one, and then he was confused. He doesn't know his original home. I asked two young children that are home. I asked them, one got to know, another one didn't know. Are those mistakes for the children or our own? So let's teach our children the history of our home.
Let me also first condole the survivors of Mugatumba massacre. For those that are here and those who are not. I condole the families that faced such effects. I condole the Banyamulenge family in general. It's a time of sour history, and those that are heavy, but it is ours. So right now I condole you.
Abantu cyangwa se ibihugu byagize uruhare mu kwakira abacikacumu mu Mugatumba,
without ceasing to thank the countries that hosted the survivors of Gatumba massacre,
ubufasha babagejejeho,
the support granted to them,
bwatumye bamwe bakura ubu n'abagabo,
made some grow, right now they are men,
ndetse n'abandi n'ababyeyi,
and others
abandi bana
are parents that bared other children.
Ariko kandi,
but in other words,
urugendo ruracari rurerure,
the journey is still long.
Urugendo rujyanye n'insanganyamatsiko batubwiye y'ubutabera.
The journey to this topic of justice, they have told us.
Abantu bagomba gutekerezaho.
People have to think about it.
Umwanya muto bampaye.
Briefly, they have given me this time.
Ndagira ngo
I want us to ask ourselves, what happened in Gatumba? Was it an accident or not? When you think about it, in the meantime they have given me, I want to dive back into history for us to look for the footprints or the reason that can help us understand why Gatumba massacre took place. And yet it is proceeding. Going back to the footprints of history, it is for us to know where we come from and the strategies that we have to take. The elders say that whoever doesn't know where they come from, they don't know their destination. That's why they've asked us to go dive into history. We need it all. All of us need it. And we've seen that we have quite a number of youth, which are the powers of our family tomorrow. So, therefore, the Banyamulenge, it is a tribe residing in DRC. If I say a tribe, I think last year there is a lawyer amidst us. In a discussion like this, he was given a say to talk about law. I won't go there.
Muri Arusha Tanzania gihe uriya rukiko rwari rucira imanza abakoze jenoside y'abatutsi mu Rwanda.
He got references from the Arusha court when it was trying those who committed genocide in Rwanda.
Gusobanukirwa n'ico bita ubwoko, ese abatutsi n'ubwoko kugira ngo babashe gusobanura bajye mu bijyanye n'imanza.
They first dived into and they explained whether the Tutsis are tribe or something else for them to try it well. That's why I also go back on it for you to know it well, and those following the journey of justice get to know very well. I said the Banyamulenge are a tribe residing in DRC. There are over 450 tribes in DRC. So the Banyamulenge are inclusive.
kugaruka ku mateka yabo,
going back to their history,
na amateka maremare.
it's a very long history.
Ariko ngiye kugaruka ku mateka arambutse.
That history is vast
Ndetse afite byinshi
and has a lot in it.
Ariko ndagaruka ku ngingo zigera kuri zine zifite naho nico zihuriyeho n'urwibutso rw'uyu munsi.
But I will talk about two key points that are related to why we are commemorating today.
Ni ingingo zigera kuri zine gusa.
There are like four key points,
Ndabivuga nihuta.
and I will hurry.
Abanyamateka
Historians
bavuga ko ubwoko bw'Abanyamulenge bumaze ibinyejana bigera kuri 3 cyangwa 4 muri Kongo.
Historians say that Banyamulenge have spent over 3 to 4 centuries in DRC.
Mu buryo busobanutse no kuvuga ngo bashobora kuba bafite imyaka irenga 300 na 400 kuri buriya butaka batuye.
In simple terms, they have spent to 300 or to 400 years on that land.
Hari ibyo bifashishije.
There is what they used.
Hari kubera impamvu zo kwibuka kw'abantu.
For the reasons of migrating and shifting of people.
Afrika yari taragira ibihugu bimeze nk'uko bimeze ubu.
Africa never had countries, republics, as you can see right now.
Amateka y'abantu bakayandika bayagereranya n'ibihe runaka.
People's history were written down depending on seasons.
Hari umwanditsi umwe wagerageje kubivuga.
There is an author who tried to explain it.
Avuga ko Abanyamulenge bageze kuri buriya butaka mu kibaya cya Rusizi.
That the Banyamulenge reached on that land in the plains of Rusizi.
Ku ngoma y'umwami wari uyoboye u Rwanda witwaga Nyamuheshera.
On the throne of the kingship of Yuhi Nyamuheshera.
Nawe yategetse mu gihe 1576.
Around 15,076 there.
Kugeza 1609.
1609.
Ukoze imibare,
so when you do the math,
usanga icyo gihe ari imyaka irenga 300 cyangwa 400.
It's beyond 300 to 400 years.
Bari kuri buriya butaka.
When they are on that land. Secondly,
ibi bihugu mubona bya Afrika bifite n'amazina.
The countries of Africa you see having names.
Zinshi byari bitarabaho.
Many had not yet existed.
Congo yari itarabaho.
Congo was no there.
Zambia zari zitarabaho.
Zambia was no.
Biriya bihugu byo mu burasirazuba no mu burengerazuba bimwe byari bitarabaho.
The east and western countries were not yet in existence.
Abanyamulenge batuye hariya bari.
The Banyamulenge resided where they are now.
Ngira ngo mwumve ico kintu.
Want you to listen to this very well. Even those fighting you are writing history that they are just writing merely. Our intellectuals hear this well. Know your starting point. Let me back to the 4 points I've said. What we are facing currently, when did it start? Who is having a hand in it? The footprint of these tragedies we are facing, it is from the colonialization of the Belgians. They are also suspected. In 1885, they had concluded that conference in Berlin in Germany. Joined leaders all over Europe. They divided the continent of Africa into countries. Belgium, they could get pieces of papers and draw borders,
uko babyumva n'intego zabo,
the way they feel it according to their missions.
ababiligi rero baragwa cyangwa se bahabwa kuyobora Kongo.
The Belgians inherited or were given DRC.
baraza bari mu gihugu cya Kongo,
They created the nation of Congo
baraza bafite umugambi wo gukoloniza.
with a purpose to colonize.
Reka nsimbuke
Let me jump.
mu maza cyangwa se mu ntangiriro,
At the beginning,
icyo gihugu ntabwo cyari cyarahawe umwami witwa Leopold.
that country was given to king called Leopold.
nyuma nibwo yaje kucyegurira igihugu cy'Ububirigi.
Belgium used DRC as his personal property and then gave it to the government of Belgium.
mu miyoborere bazanye,
In the leadership they brought,
harimo n'itegeko cyo tudasanzwe tumenyereye cyangwa se abanyafurika batari bazi,
there was a law unfamiliar to us as Africans
cyitwa ubwenegihugu.
called nationality.
mu 1892
In 1894,
mu bukoroni bwabo
in their strategies,
bashyiraho itegeko ry'uko amoko yose ari muri Kongo icyo gihe
they passed a law that all tribes in DRC by then
bahawe ubwenegihugu bwa Kongo.
are given the nationality of DRC.
ubwo ni ukuvuga ngo ayo moko navuze 450,
All the tribes I've mentioned, 450,
abatutsi n'abanyamulenge bari barimo.
the Tutsis and Banyamulenge were inclusive.
ni itegeko ry'ubukoroni.
It was the law passed by the colonialists.
ariko kandi
But again,
mpamvu navuze ko atari shyashya,
the reason I say that we may suspect it,
uburyo bwo kubaho kw'abantu,
the existence of people,
basanze muri Kongo hariho ibintu bita ubwami.
they found kingdoms in Congo.
buri bwoko bwabagaho bufite ukuntu bwitegetse bwonyine,
Each community, all tribe had their leadership
bishingiye ku mico yabo,
basing on their culture,
bishingiye ku rurimi rwabo,
on their language,
bishingiye no kuri gakondo bisanzemo cyangwa barimo.
and basing on their tribal land that they have found in
Abanyamulenge
there.
bamaze kugera i Mulenge,
When the Banyamulenge reached a place called Mulenge,
hari umugabo amateka akuze kuduha witwa Kayira Sagitwe.
there is a man called Kayira Sagitwe. History brings him back.
abonye abantu bamaze kugwira,
When he saw that people had multiplied,
agwijije amaboko n'ibintu,
when they are powerful and had resources,
agira igitekerezo cyane cyo kubumbira abo bantu mu bwami,
he had an idea of engulfing those people into a kingdom
abo mutware.
and be a king.
andi moko nayo yari afite abandi batware,
And other tribes too had their different communities.
ndetse n'ubutegetsi bw'abo bakoloni
And the leadership of the colonialists
bugaragaza ko mu bitabo byabo
shows down in their books
bwemeye ubwo butegetsi mu 1892
they accepted that kingdom in 1892
kugeza 1906.
to 1906.
ni amategeko ni ibyandikwa n'abakoloni bw'ubwo butegetsi bw'ubwo buyobozi cyangwa se ubutware gakondo buzwi n'igikoloni.
It is what the Belgians wrote that kingdom is known by the colonialists.
soza kuri aba bakoloni,
As I'm concluding on these
mu
colonialists,
1933
in 1933,
ibo bongeye kandi kwivuguruza,
they again turned
bakuraho ubuyobozi gakondo.
and they removed that traditional kingdom.
abatutsi bo muri Sud Kivu,
The Tutsis of South Kivu,
ubutware gakondo bwa Kayira,
the traditional kingdom of Kaila,
n'ubundi bwari bw'agahutu bwari mu kibaya cya Rusizi,
and that of Gahutu that was in the plain of Rusizi,
bihanagurwaho.
were erased.
ariko ndimumva ko ari ikintu cyoroshye.
I don't think it is a mere thing or
Iyo
something.
abakoloni baje,
When the colonialists came,
bashingiye ibikorwa byabo ku butegetsi gakondo bahasanze.
they based their administration according to the local and traditional administration found there.
kandi ubutegetsi gakondo nibwo bwerekanaga ko muri abanye mufite gakondo yanyu.
And the traditional leadership showed that you have a land there.
babikuyeho,
When they removed it,
Abanyamulenge bisanze nta bundi buyobozi bafite,
the Banyamulenge found themselves displaced without a leader.
usibye kujya mu buyobozi bw'andi moko.
And they were ordered to join the leadership of other tribes. From that day, they started saying the Banyamulenge have no land. Instead, they are visitors. The second word, in 1991, on the pressure of whites, Mobutu accepted multipartyism in Zaire. They did that conference. Many people were called in that conference to learn the leadership of the country, the way they shall form a new constitution. In that general meeting, the Tutsis were chased away. One of the leaders was a vice. He was a Mbembe man called that name. He hated the Tutsis and Banyamulenge in general. The elders here know that well. They had a conference. When that conference was going to end or conclude their duties, they alerted a man called Mwambeni. They created a commission to go and study the case of the Rwandan refugees who had fled to DRC. Started in North Kivu in August and concluded it in September. In 15 days, he went back and gave a report. Surprisingly, in that conference, they decided to chase all the people called the Tutsis and the Banyamulenge inclusive. They said they are visitors. They gave themselves nationality by power. They are supposed to go back to their country, Rwanda. The Banyamulenge who resided in Kinshasa had the Tutsis in general had a meeting. They wrote a memorandum to Mobutu for that law not to be passed in that parliament. For political reasons, it was never heard. The year 1996, there erupted a war in DRC, led by a man called Laurent Desire Kabila, with an ambition of removing Mobutu to power. They were successful in the next year, May. Before that war, there are things that were fast. You remember a man called Shweka Mutabazi? People who writing letters saying that Banyamulenge are foreigners. You remember the vice governor in Bukavu called Rwabanji? He passed an order that all the Banyamulenge are supposed to leave the mountains in their cradle land. Within less than a week, if they don't go away, I shall send people to burn them. That law was passed, and people were started to be killed. So the war erupted in 1996 after removing President Mobutu.
nyuma y'igihe gitoya muri 1998 indi ntabanumira iratandatu.
Another war in 1998 erupted.
Ibyo byose byagendaga bigira ingaruka ku Banyamulenge n'Abatutsi muri
All that had effects on the Banyamulenge and the Tutsis in general were killed in different ways. On top of that, the politicians started spreading ideology. I have seen somewhere you've written the ideology that is supposed to be condemned and false. There is a minister called Ndombasi. He once called for the nation to kill the Tutsis and whoever looked like them. The Banyamulenge and the Banyamasisi youth who resided in Kamina, over about 200 were in the military camp, were killed in other places. In the year 2004, I think in the month of May, I think it was on the 22nd, there erupted a war in Bukavu. A fault between Colonel Mutewutsi and General Nabiola. There are political reasons I don't want to dive into. They fought a proxy war. Nabiola ran away. After a week, there came another one. They fought. The Banyamulenge, a lot of them lost their lives. And others are sought refuge in Rwanda. So that spirit that came to Uvira and found another bad spirit. The families of Banyamulenge that were there, they are the chief of the zones and the soldiers and the natives of Congo. They were told to not let the Banyamulenge be peaceful. The problem that took place in Bukavu also brought about the families of the Banyamulenge in Uvira seeking refuge in Gatumba. I think you understand that. They were in insecurity. They crossed the borders. When they reached Gatumba, they were welcomed by UNHCR together with the